Naturally, it's a emotional time for me, navigating my daughter's 20th birthday yesterday and celebrating it without her here. It brings up a lot of tender memories, good memories, thankfully, but also extremely painful to have another milestone birthday without her being physically here to celebrate, and just having to celebrate her memory.
Do you feel that is important to, to celebrate, to remember the good while still obviously going through what you're going through?
I do. I feel that celebrating my daughter is extremely important because she is much more than her death. She touched a lot of lives. She was the most important part of my life. And I feel like it would be a disservice to only focus on the way I lost her instead of all the beautiful memories that I have with her. We were best friends and mother and daughter, so it definitely had its moments. But, I have to remember all the beautiful things that I got to experience with her. Even the hard ones are still something to celebrate because I got to be her mother. I would be doing a disservice to my child and to Taylor and Aaron if I did not make sure that information was continuing to be out there, that people knew what has happened, to make sure that their memory is not forgotten, but above that even is to bring justice for them. They deserve to have people standing up and advocating for them because they can't be here to do it for themselves. And there is someone out there who has chosen to take the life of 3 people, my daughter included. That person is still out there. That person is still walking the earth. That person is still a danger to other people. If he will take the life of my child, a child that he raised from toddler, and his own wife, what makes anyone else think that they would be safe with him walking the streets?
Tell me about the hashtag.
I had to learn how to use the internet. Funny enough, had to figure out what the significance was of a hashtag. And I created a hashtag that is Justice for Jillian Whitney. And it's a repository of any information that I put out on the internet that will serve as a place of collecting information, any news media articles, newspaper articles, any posts that other people have put out there in regards to this, pictures of the person that we're looking for. Having that hashtag, I feel like, is at least a place to collect information. It may not be the most efficient thing to get the information out there, but it's all I know to do. I'm trying to learn each step of the way of, doing research of what it is that gets this sparked in the media. So far, I've been so grateful to you and your crew because you all have a vested interest in this case. Unfortunately, the case and the information has not been disseminated enough even in the local area, much less nationally. And I'm just doing whatever I can with my minimal skills in this area to try to get information out there, because there is a dangerous person walking around. Unfortunately, he's not the only one in the world that's dangerous, that's walking around, but he is someone that I know that can be recognized because we have his pictures. It's not that we lost my daughter and we don't know who did it. We know who did it. We're trying to get the information out there so that we can hopefully bring justice for the situation.
What does justice look like to you? I think it's different for everyone.
That's a really touchy subject, the level-headed mom in me says justice is, getting someone who's dangerous off the streets, putting them into court. Hopefully our judicial system will see how important it is to not allow that person to walk the streets again. you ask the hurt side of me, it's a very different image of what justice looks like.
Have you ever thought about if an arrest is made, coming face to face with that person in court?
Oh, yeah. I hope I see that day. And I want to have faith that I will see that day. It's not going to be easy, but none of this has been easy. Each day I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver through the world without my child here, with the grief that is involved in losing her the way I have. Sitting in court face to face with this person is going to take a certain level of willpower to keep myself collected. I want to see that, even as hard as it's going to be. I want to sit there and hear the reasoning for the choices that were made. Nothing's going to excuse it. There's not going to be any warranted reason for it, but I want to hear that person tell me what in their mind made them act this way, what in their mind made them think that my child was not of any value. And so I don't really know exactly what that's going to look like, but I can imagine what it's going to look like.
On a little bit lighter note, kind of getting back to the celebration aspect, you were telling me about this tradition that you guys have in your family, and you've still carried that on the last couple of years.
Yeah. So in our family, for birthdays, we don't put all the candles on the cake. We have one candle that we've used for every birthday, and we call it the wishing candle. Each year, in celebration of whomever's birthday, they get to make their wish and still blow out the candle. And then we put the candle back until the next birthday. And it's the only thing it's used for. And so even though Jillian isn't here to celebrate her now 20th birthday, and she wasn't able to celebrate her 19th birthday, I still take the time to place her urn with candles around it, and I make a wish for her.
Was that tough?
It's really hard because it should be her wish, but instead it's my wish for her. It's my wish that her soul is at peace. You know, every parent wants their kid to be safe and happy and healthy. And unfortunately, for me, I know these are the things that are, happening for her. They're just not here. She used to get so excited about getting a chance to make her wish, and she would take forever to do it, to make sure she was going to get it right, and it was going to be that one special wish for her birthday. And so, as hard as it is, I feel like it's really important to carry on the tradition for her, and for her to remember, for me to remember her. I used to make a big deal about her birthdays, even if she didn't want it, but some type of adventure or scavenger hunt or an event, just even if it was just the two of us, but I always made sure it was extra special. And this year was particularly hard, knowing that there's going to be a lot more birthdays that I celebrate without her. And I just want to keep the traditions alive for her, for me, to still try to make it special. But this year in particular, I don't go out and celebrate her birthdays. I hide from the rest of the world for the day because I know that going out and just trying to do the day-to-day is not going to be easy.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of times people don't see the extension of crimes like this and how that's something that's been robbed of you now. You're victimized as a whole, but in particular on that day, I mean, it has to be frustrating, on top of everything else that, you feel you just don't want to do anything on that day.
Yeah. Yes, I used to celebrate her birthday, make a big deal about it, and want to take her out and, beautiful meal, make a special cake for her every year. And I can't say that gifts were the most important part of it. It was the time together and the adventures. And now each year I celebrate a birthday without her. I celebrate our holidays that we found so important to us without her. I don't get to see her go to college and follow those dreams and follow the career that she wanted to be a part of. A career that was of value, that would serve the greater good. I don't get to see her grow up and possibly marry one day and have a family of her own. Even sharing those little moments where she used to, as a young person, when I grow up, I'm going to name my child this. Those little things. Like, I don't get to be a grandmother one day. As a mom, you hope you're going to go before your child. And it wasn't that way.
In those solemn moments, do you feel her presence?
Always. She's always close. And I'm so grateful for that. The last day I saw her, she was crying right before I left for work, and I asked her why. And she said, because I know there's going to be a day that I have to live without you, and I love you so much. I can't imagine what that day would look like. I didn't know that 2 days later she would be gone. But in that moment, I reminded her that all she had to do was speak to me, that I would be close. So I try to do the same thing for her. I always talk to her. Let her show me little signals and signs that she's still close by.
What do you tell her?
Oh, every day I tell her I love her. Tell her how much I miss her. And tell her how proud I am of her. Proud of all she accomplished, proud of all the hurdles that she overcame, and proud of her knowing that she is continuing to thrive and have strength within her even though she's not here.
I bet she'd be proud of your strength.
Oh, she probably would. She was my cheerleader too. It didn't go just one direction. Excuse me. I think she would be proud of me and my strength. Although there's a lot of days I don't feel like I have it. But we were a team. She was my sidekick. That's what I always called her when she was little. When she was young, she used to say, when I grow up, Mama, and go to college, I want you to come live with me. And I said, I don't think they'll let me sleep in your dorm. But she couldn't imagine being away from me. And, of course, there's those teen years where she probably didn't want to be around me very much. But, looking at what we had and how close we were, my strength comes from her. Making sure that she knows every day that I will fight to keep her memory alive, to make sure that justice is served, to make sure she's not forgotten. Because I think she would do the same for me. I think that I just want to make sure that people know that we are still searching for the person who killed my daughter. There are people out there that know where he is. There are people out there who are helping keep him at large. I want people to be aware of who's standing next to them, who might be living right around the corner from them, for their protection, but also to help us bring some type of closure to this. And I hate to say closure because there's never going to be closure. I'm going to always have a gaping wound in my heart with losing my child. But closure to the part of the uncertainty of how long this is going to go, knowing that he's out there, at least by bringing him in, bringing justice, it will give an opportunity for that part of myself to focus on grieving, because every day I have to get up and go through the world and through the day, making sure that any information that I can get out there is out there for my child with my small skill set. And it would be really nice to have a chance to just sit in the emotions of losing my child.